is this brief mortal life, if not the pursuit of legacy?
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Green and Black. This is Mike. Justin, how are you?
I am doing so well. So well. We got a lot to talk about, Mike.
We do, even though this was a bit of a bit of a quieter episode. No big battles going on here.
Nope, I'm not smelling like smoke for once. Man, I don't know what's like.
Aegon is.
Oh, he sure is. Valerian steel, smoke, ashes, dried up blood.
Yeah, he's not doing very well. He had a long ride home in his box.
Yes, he's looking much more like his dad lately. You know, some strong genes there. I don't know. Not the strong. I should use the term strong, but he's definitely looking like his dad more and more.
Yeah, they both definitely got parts falling off the man.
Oh man, like a living skeleton, man. This is wild. Or like they what's his name? Hammer. Hammer said, "Oh, he's just meat. He's looking like a meat sickle."
Well, he was talking about the dragon, but
yes.
So we should probably start that. You know, we should probably start. I mean, we've got, I guess five really basic areas that we're in this episode. You know, we're in King's Landing, we're in Harrenhal, obviously, still for some reason.
Know why.
We're at Driftmark. You know, obviously we're at Dragonstone, and we're at the Eyrie for the first time in a while.
Woo! Welcome back.
Welcome back to the show, The Vale.
The Vale. I think I was gonna say something. I am shocked we did not get no special treatment like we usually get at the ale. You know, no breast milk or anything to drink in that type of way.
Well, we did have a little weird mother-son relationship, but I'm sure we'll get to that.
I'm so sorry, and I'm so sorry for those who are listening with headphones. I know you're probably like, "Oh my God, why did Justin scream?" But that's Mike. That scene, I know we have to talk about it at something, but that scene that messed me up.
Yeah, well, I think it messed Daemon up a little bit too. I mean, this is what happens when you drink something that some weird swamp woman is mixing with her hands for you and putting you to sleep.
Back and forth. Don't know where Ray is, when he is, what's going on. And the craziest thing about this is happening to Daemon for so long, and at least 2-3 episodes right now. And the man is still there. He does not want to leave. In fact, he's building, chopping stuff down and building up the place. Man, if I was having crazy dreams like that, and I don't even know where I am, what I am, I would have been long gone, Mike. I would have probably been to the Dornish area or to Pentos.
Yeah, I'm not eating your duck or your goose or drinking your potion or anything. I'm a dragon, and I'm going back to Dragonstone, going to King's Landing. I don't care where I'm going. I don't care where I'm going, but go out to the Arbor, get some wine. But I don't need to be here anymore.
Absolutely.
And I think even Sir Simon is kind of like, what's going on with you, buddy? Because you're kind of a mess. And the Riverlords come in and they got nothing for him. They don't care about him, who he is, what he is. You know, when Sir Simon is like, when Daemon's like, what would you call the husband of the queen?
Oh,
he's like the king, consort.
He's like, I don't think that was really needed.
And he's like, but you're not the king.
He's sure not. Yeah, he's been saying that. Like, we know this. Is that, and then when that was happening, I'm glad you brought this up too, because now it's brought to the tables of everybody's cards. I mean, Damon just definitely showed his cards right now, and what I was fearing, I think what many people are fearing, has definitely come true. Daemon has his own agenda. He has his own motives. He made it known to, and I hope I'm not going too fast, but when he was talking to Rivers, made it known, and to even to Simon, that he intends on taking over King Landing. He intends to be the one sitting on the Iron Throne, and he really doesn't have any real connection or really true belief to put Rhaenyra to the Iron Throne. Like, he'll definitely make sure that they together win the battle, but ultimately it's gonna be him sitting on the Iron Throne and her like playing second fiddle. And that to me, I was like, wow, that just, I don't know, I just shook my head at that. I was just like, okay, Jamie.
Well, I think it goes to the theme that, you know, he feels that like Aemond, he feels like he should be the one who's in charge. That he, you know, obviously over his brother, he felt like he was the better of the two. Apparently a thought shared by his mother, maybe,
Oh my
or
God.
the ghost of his mother, or his vision of his mother. So let's be clear. So this, obviously this woman is, you know, supposed to be his mother, Alyssa,
Yeah.
who died when Daemon was 3.
Yeah, so he doesn't really have a strong relationship with her from that viewpoint, or have a good view of what she really was really like, you know. But yes, that was her, and I bet you they got to know each other really well, really well.
Yeah, and it's, you know, I think it is hopefully I think it's just a continuation of his you know, his ongoing trauma, or his ongoing in what's what I'm looking for, the fact that he feels like he is not getting his due, his insecurities. And, you know, I think his you know, who does a young man need his encouragement from but his mother, you know? And so when she says, you know, you were the best swordsman, you were the strongest, you were my favorite son. Let's forget everything else that went along with this for a minute, you know, and just get to kind of that moment and what it's doing for Daemon. You know, I think this goes along with this continual insecurity that he's had, whether he was second fiddle to his brother, second fiddle to Rhaenyra, and always feeling like, you know, the second son, and that he feels like he's the most talented, that he feels that he's the strongest, that he feels like he should have been the one. And I think, you know, it's pretty clear that he shouldn't have been the one. He doesn't have the temperament for rule. No.
And I think also not only the temperament, but I think as Faye has proven us excuse me. That's what's Faye of what we just see experience proven us, that he tends to make a lot of decisions that he thinks is right or is for the good, but it turns to be thrown back in his face in such a severe way. We see this with the issues of the blood and cheese. He says, okay, you want your vengeance, we're going to take care of the vengeance. The result of that now, people are calling Rhaenyra the cruel. The Koreans even want their own personal payback, which we do see. They're more inclined to be in war, so on and so forth. We see it even again when he kind of tells William Blackwood, or basically to kind of do like their own version of Blood and Cheese, and you know, go and ransack the Brackens and whatnot. And we see how that goes again. That goes back in his face, where you see the group of people coming in and say, you know what? Best believe we're not joining your cause, we're not joining your army. You're basically gonna be on your own. So I feel like this is kind of like this is giving us a kind of like a hint. Like, if we was to see Daemon as king, this is the stuff that we will see. He's not like you just mentioned. He's not really fit or meant to be king, because, you know, with the decision he probably would have made as king, it would have backfired in such a horrible way.
Yeah, and he straight up tells Alice, like like Rhaenyra can't succeed. Like it has to be me.
That blows my mind.
And obviously he's going through this, this kind of delusion that he needs to be the one. And yeah, you're absolutely right. What he sends Sir William off to do the things that the crown can't be seen doing, and basically just go out there, commit your war crimes,
yep.
do your thing, kidnap. We understand one another. We know what I want, and go out there and just do your thing. And I don't care what it takes. He kind of bluffed on the Blackwoods at the beginning. He's like, bend the knee or your house burns. But he was smart enough to know it's like, I need these guys. Like, these are exactly the kind of guys I need. So obviously the fear of burning, the fear of death is not going to turn them, but there has to be something to turn them. They have to have a weakness. But I can't be seen doing it, even though Sir William went out with Targaryen banners, which is probably going to come back to be a problem. But
big time, absolutely. I do admire Daemon though for being a risk taker, because he's willing to take risks. He's willing to call people's bluff, or or do what he has to do, even though it has not worked for him in his run. I do admire the fact that he's willing to do that. It makes me wonder what else he's going to do in the upcoming episodes in terms of taking risks. And honestly, the rate that he has, he should definitely not go to no casino or nothing, because I don't know, it doesn't do him any favors. But it makes me feel like, oh gosh, what is he going to put us at risk, and how is it going to backfire to him? I feel like ultimately we're going to see a big backfire when it comes to Daemon, based off of these experience. And like you said, I think the fact that he's so arrogant and so cocky, it's so weird. I'm saying that, but even what you're saying too, in terms of these visions and dreams, is definitely showing his him being like his insecurities and whatnot. But he really parades around his arrogance and whatnot, and I think that's gonna be exposed, and that's gonna be a big backfire of that. But I am enjoying though, even though I don't like his time in here and all. The aspect I do enjoy is these visions, and these visions show all the things that he was insecure about, or that he's worried about. Like, we do see another scene once again with his second wife, Lena, and she called him out, saying, "Oh, you're doing all this stuff, but when was the last time you checked on your kids? You're acting like a deadbeat." I think that's something a little sensitive to him.
yeah, and she's like, are you raising our daughters? Are you protecting our daughters? It's he's got other things that he needs to worry about.
Absolutely.
And he is so single-minded on how am I going to prove myself, and how am I going to get, mine and what I deserve and what I should have, that he's kind of left everything to the back. And it's not that he hasn't done that before, but he seems to be really single-mindedly focused on raising this army and marching into King's Landing.
She cannot succeed, Alice. Even if I willed it to be so, the people who support her will not be led by her. They look to a man for strength. Who's better suited to it, the High Towers with their scheming, or Viserys' first true heir? When I take King's Landing, Rhaenyra is welcome to join me there and take her place by my side. King and Queen, ruling together.
And if you lose?
Then I'll be dead, and none of this will be my problem.
Rhaenyra is right to ask the question: is he doing it for him, or is he doing it for me? And I think he's saying that he's doing it for him. I don't know necessarily that I believe him.
Really?
Let me rephrase that.
Yes, please.
I think he thinks that now, but I don't necessarily know that when the time comes, if he will not turn around and do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think when it comes down to it, he's going to try to usurp Rhaenyra.
It's so interesting. I like what you said that, because now it's making me think, because all along we always think about the parallel of Daemon. Daemon's variant is definitely Aemond. And I feel like, and as you was just saying those comments, I was thinking, well, what would Aemond do in this situation? And as we've seen from last episode, I think given the opportunity already, and I think we actually are seeing it, Aemond surely would usurp, and has usurped his brother, Aegon. So this, to me, by hearing you say this, is allowing me to see, I guess, first, and seeing a difference between Daemon and Aemond. So seeing like Daemon, there's a possibility of him not usurping Rhaenyra when it finally gets down to it. It's looking like it right now. But Aemond actually doing it to Aegon, and how that's going to play out, because that was a wild scene too. But that was very interesting, Mike. Thank you for allowing me to see that in that view and process that. It's like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, but I think you're right. I think Aemond, given the opportunity, would toss his brother out a window and do whatever. I mean, that small council scene.
Oh, can we talk? Let me know where we're going there. I'm ready.
Well, I mean, we should probably start before we get there. We should probably, do the prologue and get to them, parading Meleese's head through the streets of the city, and how another one of Sir Crispy's plans have backfired.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, man. They calling it, the small folks are calling it a bad omen. It's like you have this idea, like you thought this was a great idea to let people show you, oh yeah, we are the green team, that we are strong, that we're actually so-called winning this battle thus far. We took out one of the dragons, but it really does a complete 180. And people, and like your boy Hugh Hammer saying, they said, I thought dragons were gods, and he goes, nah, they're just meat. Maybe delicious meat, I don't know. Look like it probably tastes like chicken. I don't know, but that's my inner thoughts right now. But yeah, I'm a little concerned for the green team. I mean, I'm not for the green team, but I am concerned for them.
Well, I think the people are pointing out correctly that Rhaenyra, and even Kat, Hugh's wife, is pointing out that Rhaenyra is not going to let this go.
Yeah,
and she's gonna. If she decides she's going to take retribution, then this is not everything's going to be a problem. And these
it's going to be at the expense of the small folks. I don't think she's going to kill everybody, but there's going to be some collateral damage.
But it's going to be, but and I think it's something that we've seen. We've seen it in Game of Thrones. We've seen it in this. We've seen. Sylvie say it to Aemond, the small folk are always the ones who suffer when the princes get annoyed and the small folk suffer. And
the Dance of Dragons, what we're seeing right now, is known to have thousands of people being perished and whatnot. So I can only imagine, just by hearing that, what type of disaster awaits us, or awaits small folks. And they're showing it right now too. Like even when in that beginning scene where you see the small folks getting food, like one of the things that really stuck to me was the condition, the quality of the food that was currently being served to them. Like you see a lot of the mold. I think it was on from oranges and fruits and stuff. They have a lot of just main liquid drinks. And then I think at a certain point in the episode when they were trying to close down, they were like, we want meat. And I felt them on that. Being the carnivore that I am, I can understand. If you are not allowing me to have my steak, my chicken, my bacon, my pork, I'm gonna let things loose. I'm gonna set things on fire, Mike. So I can definitely imagine the small folks and how they feel and what's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're already suffering. They're already starving, and they can't get food. People are getting sick. People are dying. People are hungry, and it's only going to get worse as this war continues. And even Daemon is talking about, put levies on the farmers and have them bring wood and have them bring this and that and the other thing. And Hugh and the other craftsmen in King's Landing are being forced to build scorpions and other things. And it's like, and not getting paid for it.
Oh
And
yeah.
so it's like, they're already feeling the pressure of, this war that's coming, and the fact that, now they get locked into the city and they can't get out, and, they can't get, food's not coming in. They can't get out. What's really gonna happen? And keep in mind, as these armies are on the march, they're gonna, the various sides are going to be trying to deny them resources. And so who's going to suffer in that hand? An army on the march, you got 14,000 swords marching up the road. That takes a lot of resources.
It sure does.
They're not sending out Uber Eats for those people. They're just gonna they're gonna take the food wherever they are. And
oh man, that's funny.
So they come up to a town or a stronghold and they got to eat. They're going to go and they're going to start pillaging food to feed the army. And then the other army is going to want to deny them that. So they're going to start, burning fields or doing whatever to keep this army from being able to eat. And it's just, but who pays the price? It's always the small folk.
Always. Definitely. And I think we are definitely seeing it. It's definitely a big slow burn. This show is famous for its slow burns, ladies and gentlemen. And I think there's slow burns on different areas. Definitely keep an eye on the small folks in the slow burns. We see them being cut off the food and like you said, and the nourishment and whatnot. People get reckless. Now they're stuck in King's Landing when they're trying to leave. They can only take but so much. And I think also pay attention to, you mentioned it earlier, to the character of Hugh Hammer. They really want us to understand and know the issues that he has. Like, he seems like he's a good man. I think it was the first episode we seen when he's talking to the king, and he's basically saying, I need money support, but I'm down to make the things that you need. The king offers it. And then we see that in this most recent episode, the conversation that he's having with his wife. The wife is smart. She's saying, you mean to tell me you made all this stuff and you still haven't gotten paid? And, he says, oh, the king will pay in time and whatnot. But the king is not in no condition to pay anybody right now. So it's only a matter of time for Hugh to understand that. And I think he's going to be really upset. And I think that's gonna cause some stuff in the future. I don't know, but I do know for sure they want us, the showrunners want us to pay special attention to that.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. These guys are not, they're not NPCs that they're showing. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. We're gonna, in deference to, we had some feedback from some listeners about, I guess we were a little freewheeling with the spoilers last week, and so we're gonna have a kind of section at the end where maybe we're gonna look forward a little bit based on the book. Right. So I don't want to get too far into it right now.
Okay.
But the so Hugh's, we said this last week. Hugh's definitely important. Ulf is important. Adam and Alan are important. They're not showing us these people by chance. So it's something to pay attention to. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, the thing about Hugh is he's reasonable because he does come around, and when we see him, he's there arguing with his wife, and he's like, "Oh, would you have me be a beggar?" And she's like, "We're already beggars, And but you see him at the end. What are they doing? They're trying to leave. So obviously, absolutely, she won that argument, and
happy wife, happy life.
There you go. And they're trying to leave the city, and they can't leave the city, and that turns into a food riot. Again, this is them misjudging how the people are going to react,
right,
to the things that they're putting on them. They misjudged it with the dragon's head, and now they misjudged it with locking the gates.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that, because let's talk about the small council meeting, because I think Alicent, there's a really interesting position for Alicent to be in right now.
Absolutely.
She had, a couple of weeks ago, she had it handed to her by Rhaenyra, where she's like, idiot, it's Aemond the Conqueror, or Aegon the Conqueror, not your son. You were listening to the, delusional ravings of a dying man and thinking that, this is this and the start of this war. And now she's in this position where she rightfully should be the regent. She rightfully should be, because she's got the experience. She's got, she understands how to govern. But
Absolutely.
she's almost pushed herself out the door.
It is experience that offers the surest path to security. Queen Alicent ably shouldered the duties of the realm when her husband's health failed him.
Experience is valuable, yes, but the Dowager Queen is a woman.
I am no stranger to rule or to sitting at this council. Aemond is a fearsome dragon rider. His skill is best employed in the field, but my experience is needed here, at this table.
No offense was meant, Your Grace, but at a time when we must show strength.
Lord Larys.
I agree, Your Grace. It must be Prince Aemond. What would it say if, in response to Rhaenyra's crowning, we raised up a woman of our own? But the hand speaks with the king's voice, Sir Criston. What say you?
Aemond is the next in line. It must be him.
You think she did it herself?
Well, I think, her positioning herself the way that she did, and allowing these men to get into the positions that they are. Larys is not on the small council unless she wants it. Aemond maybe takes a different turn, or if she had treated Aegon with more respect when he was younger, or made his father treat him with more respect when he was younger. There's a lot of things that she put her in, but by throwing herself behind Aegon, and basically, to the point where Larys has to come up and say, hey, we are rejecting Rhaenyra because she's a woman.
Yeah.
We can't name a woman as regent.
Yeah, it'll be so redundant, and it'll just defeat the whole purpose of us in this war in the first place.
Right. And I think we're seeing on both sides, both the Greens and the Blacks, right?
Yeah.
Where it's kind of growing beyond these two women.
Absolutely.
Or at least there's the attempt to have it grow beyond these two women. We see it with Rhaenyra, where, her council, especially Alfred Broom, is just kind of doing end runs around her and, trying to, keep her down, keep her quiet. No, you can't go, you can't fight, you can't do this, you can't do that. And we see the same thing with Alicent, where these men in the small council are like, no, it's Aemond's the regent. Aemond's next in line. It has to be a man. It has to be this way. And her two allies, foot fetish on one side and late night booty calls on the other side.
Keep it real, Mike. Keep it real.
Are, just completely turning their back on her. And I think she's finding herself in this position where, she's gotten backed into this corner, and especially with Lara, I would say, especially with both of them, because she's the one inviting Criston Cole in
and giving him power in a way,
and and now these are the two guys who are turning on her.
Yeah. It's for her to deal with all that. That's just so bad. I gotta say one betrayal, but two at most like that took a lot. And can I just say something, Mike? You're gonna think I'm really weird, and people are probably gonna think I'm really weird. But honestly, that scene, and I'm talking about in particular that scene when after she realized, after all that happened, and they just do that close up of her, and then they show the reaction of her having that mental breakdown, and she's looking around. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, the one where the sound just started working its way out, and
Yes.
you just heard like, yeah, she was like disassociating, and
that to me, honestly, people think I'm weird. That's my favorite scene thus far, and I know, we just had a crazy dragon scene last episode, but that's my favorite scene so far in this series of House of the Dragon. I must rewatch that scene at least 6-7 times. I love it. Not much was said, but a lot was said. My favorite scene. And she deserves the actress that plays the grown-up Queen Alicent. She deserves all the Emmys and whatever awards they have for that scene. That's my humble opinion.
No, I agree. I agree with you. I mean, it was definitely powerful.
Yes, powerful.
And she did this great job. And I think it really, like, we've all been in those moments where it's like everything is just so overwhelming to us, and we just have
crashing down. Everything's crashing down,
and just push everything out. And
she's trying to compose. She's trying to hold her composure because she's still in the meeting and whatnot. But you can just see it. Oh man.
But I think she's also like come to the realization at that moment. It's like, holy crap, this is what it is. They've pushed me out, and I have no power here. I mean, she knew all along that this was coming, and she had said it when her father left. She had said it, all this time. It's like, you're leaving me without power. But now she knows she really has no power. Yeah. And, because her son's turning her back on her.
Absolutely.
Her two boyfriends here are turning their backs on her. The other three were never any good to her anyway.
No.
And now she is, she's alone. And a lot of this is all her doing, and Aemond just is kind of like, well, here it is, go. Okay, I'm going to take the ball. I'm going to go up to the top of the table. And I'm gonna start handing out orders now.
He's doing like a pro, which is scary to me. It's very scary to me. Like the moment he put that ball in, he started, he's commanded to be the Regent King, and he's good. He's good, but that scares me. I don't even want to admit I said that. I don't even want to admit it, but he's shown himself to be really good. He's proven himself to be good at what he does.
Well, I think he's ready for it, and he's been thinking about it, and he probably been rehearsing this because he had said even when they were watching the dragon come through, right? He said to his mother, there needs to be someone needs to rule in his place when they were watching them carry Aegon through the streets, right?
Say that.
He said, someone needs to rule in his place. So he's been preparing for this at least for a couple of days. Because don't forget that trip back from Rook's Rest with Aegon and with Meleys, that wasn't like, the battle was at 3 and they were home for dinner. That took a couple of days at least to get all the way back to King's Landing. And so he's had time to think about this and prepare for this and know that when that moment came, he was going to be ready. And he was ready, and he just marched to the top of the table and just started, here's what it's going to be, and cut those rat catchers down.
He sure did. He knew. He had that all stuff premeditated. He knew what he was going to say, how he was going to say it, and he's wild. He's wild. He's not gonna be easy to take down, and he has his sights on Harrenhal. So it's only a matter of time, man.
Yeah, I mean everything eventually is going to converge on Harrenhal at some point. It seems, as to because that's where Daemon is, that's where Aemond wants to be. That's
Yeah.
where Rhaenyra is sending Alfred Broom.
Yeah.
It's what the Freys want, apparently. I forgot we were also at the twins. It's what
Oh, man.
it's what the Freys want, apparently.
By the way, those Freys and the twins, they have to be related to Walder Frey, right?
Yeah, they're Walder Frey's ancestors.
Oh man, I knew it. I knew it. I just had something sticking to my stomach. Those who know, just know. Okay, yes. I realized, and I was thinking that, and not to jump too far ahead, I just have to say this: you just don't make any type of agreement with the phrase. Don't do it. I don't care if you're gonna stick with it or you're not. You just don't do it. And I don't know anything's gonna happen as a result of this particular agreement, but I just know from other experiences, you just don't do it. But I digress.
Never trust a Frey.
Exactly.
So since we talked about the twins, we should probably talk about the Vale and Lady Jane and Rhaena. And I gotta say, I was kind of impressed with Rhaena.
I was too. We originally see her it was very clear that she does not want to be that she did not want to take on this role, but she was very obedient to Rhaenyra, and she's gonna do what she's gonna do, and she handled her business. I think as a true advocate for Rhaenyra and Rhaenyra's cause, she held her ground. She stood 10 toes down, and she said what she said. But Lady Arryn was not. She was not playing around either, though.
No, she wasn't, but she did kind of soften up at the end there. I think the two of them are coming to a bit of an understanding. And I think Lady Arryn, she understands the position she's in.
Yeah. Like right now, they're in the middle of war. They need all the big dragons. They need all the big animals they can't have right now. I did love with Rhaena, that's her name, right?
Yeah.
What Rhaena said, when Lady Arryn accused her, she says, I expected Rhaenyra to be on her end of the bargain and provide me with the dragons, to finish stuff. And then Rhaena was like, well, I believe Rhaenyra actually exceeded in her bargain. She gave you 2 dragons that will grow. I was like, yes, that's right, girl. Let her know. Yes, girl, let her.
Would you goad me, child?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, she was going, but she stood her distance. She stood her ground. She said, "Listen, you got what you got. Actually, you got even a better deal. You just gotta wait. Just chillax. Those dragons will grow."
Yeah, you need to be a little precise if you want adult dragons. You didn't ask for that.
Exactly, and that makes a world of a difference. You want what you want, but you said dragons. We didn't say how they're gonna come. We gave you dragons. They're just dragon eggs, though. All right.
Yeah, she's lucky she didn't wind up out the moon door after that one.
Woo! Yeah, you talking about Rhaena now, right?
Yeah.
Just like, I know that craziness is there. Can I have you step? Please take 4 steps to the left. Thank you. Okay, thank you. One more step.
Look at the view.
Look at that lovely view. Okay, you like it from that view or watch from below? Bam!
Oh, you like the view? Oh, well, let me show you one of my sky cells.
I love it though. I like Rhaenyra. I love the fact that they gave these 2 ladies in particular much screen time and much development. They gave themselves some good lines to quote, and I think Rhaenyra really she delivered in that scene. I think both of them, Lady Arryn and Rhaenyra, and but I just think you tend to feel. I can't say you. I mean, I definitely feel a way for Rhaenyra because she doesn't have a dragon. The dragon that she wanted, Vhagar, was taken from her. I mean, well, I don't know about taken from her. It was snatched before she had the opportunity, and then her fiance Luke was taken from her as well. But still, despite that, she kind of reminds me of her grandfather, Lord Corlys, and she's handling her business, and she's still very much supportive for Rhaenyra, excuse me. And she lost her grandma. She's losing. The Valerians, they losing people left and right, man. I'm telling you, but they are still holding their ground. That's a good little feeling. If I don't know how to see it, if I don't see one myself.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the Valerians for a minute. Let's talk specifically about Corlys. Corlys is having a bad day.
He's having a very bad day, Mike. I just feel bad for him, man. He stood pride. He talks about his family name and for legacy, but episode after episode, his legacy is getting chopped off. Right, heads chopped off, falling to the ground. Getting burnt up. You name it, they experiencing death one way or another. I think they're very experts on the topic of death.
Yeah, and his son's gone, his daughter's gone. Now Rhaenys is gone, and Bela, basically turns him down.
I grieve my grandmother who loved me, but I carry her on with me. I will see Rhaenyra ascend the Iron Throne as Rhaenys wished, as Rhaenys herself should have. You yourself may do as you see fit.
Granddaughter, I would make you my heir.
I am blood and fire. Driftmark must pass to salt and sea.
Oh, I think that was definitely top 3 quotes of the episode. She said,
she said, "I'm fire and blood. Driftmark needs to pass the salt and sea."
Oh man, that's a Facebook status. I don't know how I'm gonna make that to a Facebook status, but that's I'm gonna make that happen somehow. And then she did that little walk off. I was like, yo. She let it be known. She said, "Nah, it can't be me." But I know that's gonna be a good setup for future things, and that's gonna happen. Hopefully, I think. Hopefully, and I think he's gonna do right by it. I think he came to a realization. I mean, he always knew, but I think he's actually accepting it now. That well, obviously he came to anyways because Jace is the heir to the Iron Throne. But even if he wasn't, or Joffrey in this case. He realizing that these are not his real blood ties. And I think he's now accepting that. And he could be accepting that in honor of Rhaenys. Rhaenys was Rhaenys was the perfect wife for him, man. She kept it real with him. Even when he played her so many times, she still stood beside him. She knows how to stay beside people who play in her face. I don't know how she did it, but she did it. And she even said, you need to make good of those of that young man and make him, legitimate. So I think he's gonna honor her of that. I don't know for sure, but the way things are looking in the show is looking like that. And what did you think about Bela coming? When she did go to him and gave him the hand of the king, the offer of being Rhaenyra's hand of the king. You think he's gonna take it?
Oh, I think he definitely will take it. I mean, the preview showed him coming into the council in Dragonstone, coming to the painted table. So I think he's definitely gonna take it.
Do you think he has any? Do you think there's gonna be any type of tension? Because you already know already they already had some tension already because they still believe that Rhaenyra has some type of fault in Rhaenyra and Daemon in the deaths of their son Laenor, and maybe more on Daemon for their daughter Rhaenyra.
Yeah,
I think I'm wondering that too. But despite that, though, I know Rhaenyra definitely needs all the help she can get. I think Rhaenys was definitely the best, and she admitted herself. She told Bela that your grandmother did not really care for me at times, but she was a real one. So I'm hoping that despite Corlys not caring for Rhaenyra, having his own opinion about her, but I think him being one of the oldest and being well known wise, he'll be like their version of Otto Hightower. I keep said that name. That name came out of my mouth, but here we are.
Well, I think I think Bela really got to him when she said, I would see Rhaenyra on the Iron Throne as my grandmother did, as
Ooh.
Rhaenys did, and for someone who, as she called him out, spent his whole life doing all these adventures and bringing all this great wealth home to Driftmark and doing all these things, in order to impress Rhaenys, to walk away from her dream and her vision of having Rhaenyra on the Iron Throne, I don't think that's something that he's going to be capable of doing. I think his devotion to Rhaenys, he needs to pick up that mantle and follow her dream, just as Bela did.
That's powerful of you saying that, and I can definitely see that. I definitely think his love and admiration, for Rhaenys, and even for his grandchildren. I think he has a lot of respect for Bela after that conversation. I think that's, like you kind of just say, it's gonna definitely fuel him. If he decides, I know we've seen him in the previews, but decides to take on the role of being Rhaenyra's hand, and I think he's gonna be a great asset somehow. But I do feel scared though, because this man really did dedicate his whole family for Rhaenyra. And as a result of it, we've seen them all dropping like flies. So it makes me feel like, did he just put like a death sentence on himself by accepting this role? I don't know.
I mean, and he even kind of, says to that point, my wife is dead and that doesn't satisfy her. She's going to keep taking, but it's not, I don't even think it's really about that. I think it's just that, they've thrown in with Rhaenyra, they've thrown in with the Blacks, and it has to be all or nothing.
Yeah.
And that's the way Rhaenys saw it. And that's the way that he's going to need to see it. And I think, the rest of her wisdom is going to come down to him where she was trying to get him, let's face it, she was trying to get him to, name Alan as, the heir.
Right.
And because Joffrey can't do it and Bela won't do it. So he really doesn't have a lot of choice, but Alan is really the right choice. And, bastard or not, he's the one, he is Salton Sea. And, Rhaenys was smart enough to see that. This is a world where, the men's indiscretions are forgiven or at least accepted. And, so this is the situation, and, we'll get to this at the end, but, when we get to the last scene, but this is the situation where, she's not going to let him throw away a good asset and someone who can do the job simply because of a name, right?
Yeah.
And, that was always Corlys's thing, right? Is that history doesn't remember blood, it remembers names. And he's going to have to come to a point where he has to make a decision about that. Does he give Alan the name? And, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I'm dying to see. I'm also dying to see that I don't know, but if in the chance he does name Alan heir, maybe I'm trying to be funny here. Does he give him like a little wig, a white wig? Because I feel like it's a big, strong Valerian trait that they have there.
It's just, if you're going to be Lord of the Tides, you can't be bald.
You cannot be bald. We got to get you a doo-doo, bro. Some soul glow, something on you.
We need to get you the Bobby McFerrin haircut and
and make sure it's nice and gray.
Nice and white. Absolutely.
Nice and white. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you gotta let them know that what you about. Oh man, I'm excited though. I'm very, very excited to see how this is gonna play out, how it's gonna work out. and what that is going to look like. If we see it even this season or next season, so something's going to happen, that'll be so awesome to see.
Well, yeah. So, all right. So, I think we're gonna want. I think I'm still thinking that I was probably wrong,
Oh,
and that we're not going to see at least all of. We may see the beginning of Rhaenyra trying to take King's Landing. I don't think we're going to see what I thought. I thought we were going to like kind of end with that this season. But so let me just give a little warning, because we're going to dance into a little speculation based on the books.
okay,
So,
okay.
you know, and so we'll do a little warning. But so this ending scene becomes really important, and I'm interested for a couple of reasons. So as we've talked about, you know, Jace and Rhaenyra. Oh, and props to Jace, by the way, handling the phrase pretty well. I forgot to mention that.
Yes and no. I mean, definitely paid off. It definitely paid off. But you can't defy your mom or just be secretive around your mom. I'm sorry, I have to say that. I feel like it kind of undermines her power, not so much as a mother, but as a queen. You know what I mean? We already see Daemon doing it, and he's doing it. You know, he's aching, he's itching for war. They're all itching for war, or to do something. But despite that, I do agree with you. I do believe that this did pay it off. And that scene was fun to watch. It really was fun to watch because I think Jace proves himself to be a valuable asset, a valuable person, all Team Black. So I just had to make my thoughts on that clear.
Yeah, but I like the way Rhaenyra handled it when he came back, and that she's proud of him and that he did a good job. You know, in the book, Jace is has a little more authority. In fact, it's Jace who names Corlys to be Hand of the Queen.
Really?
He's the one who decides that has to happen. So it's it's just a little bit of a change of the power dynamic. I like the way they're doing it in the show, that they're keeping Rhaenyra. You know, because don't forget, remember what I said, that Rhaenyra is kind of out of it in a lot of ways. Still through this point in the story. But her and Rhaenyra hatch the plan. Him and Rhaenyra hatch this plan at the end, where they come to realize that, you know what, there's a lot of Targaryens walking around. They just don't have our name, you know. And originally they're talking about like just, you know, cousins and things like that who just married into different families. But then they both, I think, come to realize that no, there's a lot more than that. There's there's a lot of bastards running around, and you know, they have Targaryen blood, and maybe we can use them. And you know, so this comes to what you were talking about at the beginning, where you know, Hugh and Ulf, you know, and Alan. I mean, the fact that we see these guys, sorry, not Alan, Adam. You know, the fact that we see these guys, they're not NPCs. You know, they're players. You know, they're definitely take a role. The interesting thing is okay. So in the book, the three of them they're all dragon seeds. They all take dragons. Ulf takes Silverwing. Hugh takes Vermithor. Alan takes Adam. Sorry, takes Sea Smoke.
That's interesting. I thought, and we do see that in the show, like scenes where Sea Smoke's in the air and not Alan, the other one.
Adam
was he's working in the field and he looks up and he sees Sea Smoke. And then you see even those scenes where the White Worms tell Rhaenyra that upon looking at Sea Smoke, he looks quite lonely.
Maybe he's lonely, yeah.
So you see, I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that being paid off within the next episode or two. That actually happening.
So I don't know if that's supposed to mean that Rhaenyra is dead, or like does Seasmoke even know? Like he went off to wherever he went off to, the Summer Isles or wherever he went off to be with his boyfriend, and but they say a dragon doesn't, a dragon is bonded for the life of the rider. So, like, how do they know? Like, if he goes away and gets himself killed somewhere,
that's a good question.
Or is it just like he's been gone for a year, so he's out?
He's out, yeah.
But yeah, so the question I have, the interesting thing to see how they're going to do this, and again, this is pure speculation because we're in uncharted territory here. So in the books, there's a fourth dragon seed.
Ooh.
There's a girl. Her name is Nettles. She lives on Driftmark, and she's really interesting and kind of popular with book readers because she's able to take a dragon because she's very clever. So there's a dragon who lives on Driftmark called Sheepstealer, and Sheepstealer steals sheep. And so Nettles brings him a sheep every day. And Sheepstealer gets used to Nettles, and she is eventually able to claim him, even though she may or may not have any Valyrian or Targaryen blood. We've obviously not seen her at all.
Yeah, she has not been made any mentions.
So the question becomes: are they going to completely just do without her and just do with the three of them, or are they going to just bring her in next season, which I guess is a possibility, or are they going to? This is an interesting thought. Are they going to give her story to Rhaenyra?
I think they're going to give it to Rhaenyra, man.
I think that would be really interesting because in the book Rhaenyra really is nothing, right? And she doesn't really have much to do. I think it would be really interesting if they made her the fourth dragon seed, and she gets to ride a dragon. Now it's kind of confusing because when Rhaenyra gave her the eggs, she gave her 4 eggs.
Yeah.
3 of which we know are Daenerys's eggs. The fourth one is blue, and so the fourth one should be Morning, who is Rhaenyra's dragon. But Morning hasn't even hatched yet. So I think it would be interesting if they wound up giving the Nettles story to Rhaenyra and have her be like an active, fighter in this war on a dragon. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, and also it'll also pay off that little conversation that she had with Lady Arryn. I'm assuming that she'll still be, by her getting a dragon, that'll be a legit dragon to protect the Vale. I'm just assuming, but again, she might be busy doing some war battles.
Yes, yeah. So I think that would be pretty cool. But I think we're definitely, based on the previews from the next episode, I think we're going to start at least seeing, the seeding. And, I thought it was interesting that, so I thought it was a clever line where she's like, where Rhaenyra's like, would you have a Mallister on a dragon? Would you have a Tarly on a dragon?
Yeah, that was funny.
Because and don't forget, and Jace kind of hinted at it, right? He's like, she's like, only dragon lords can ride dragons. That's what's written in the histories. And he's like, well, that's a history written that's Valyrian history that's written to gild us and make us, into gods. And don't forget what her father had told her, like way back in season 1, right? the idea that we control the dragons is an illusion.
Yeah. That's so
And so maybe that whole thing about having Targaryen blood, having Dragon Lord blood to claim a dragon is BS. And anybody can claim a dragon, but they don't want that to get out.
No, not at all.
Right. So
everybody, they might want to have a dragon, or at least have something.
right. So they don't want that to get out that anybody could be on a dragon. And so I think this is a clever idea that they've come up with, that there's a lot of Targaryen blood floating around in King's Landing, and we just got to find it.
Absolutely.
And I think that's gonna turn out to be interesting. If it goes anywhere along where it goes in the books, these guys, especially Hugh, are gonna have pretty interesting stories to tell.
Oh my gosh, I really cannot wait to see their stories unfold. I've been waiting. I'm sorry, it's a slow burn, but I think it's picking up now.
Yeah, and the final episode, the 8th episode, is the longest one of the season.
Ooh.
But only by like a couple of minutes. I mean, it's not like it's 30 minutes longer than anything else. It's like 2 minutes longer than anything else. But it's not a short episode. It's the longest episode of the season. And I think episode 7 is pretty long. So I think like episode 8 is like an hour and 14 minutes, and episode 7 is like an hour and 12 minutes or something like that. So they're both decent sized episodes.
I just can't wait. I can't wait to see what they put into it. And I'm glad they're doing that, because despite for lowering the 10 episodes down to 8, they should give us a little bit more length per episode, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we wish they had done 10, but
absolutely, yes.
Are you watching any of the the documentary features and stuff, like the House of Dragon built and stuff like that? Do you watch any of that stuff?
I see it, and I am interested in watching it. I'm not watching it right now, but should I be watching?
I think you should. I mean, it's really so they do at the end of the episode, they do like inside the episode where they talk specifically about the episode. But then there's a separate series that they do. It's called the House the Dragon built, and they do and they show like the real behind the scenes stuff, and like how they do like the dragon parade, or how they do this or that or the other thing. And it's really interesting. Like they've gone really crazy and like building sets and setting everything up and dressing everything, and it's really, really crazy how far they go into this whole thing to set all of this up. And how they do like the dragons, like they literally have like a crane. They have like cranes with flamethrowers on them.
Oh my god!
And they're all like programmed so that it looks like so when the dragons fight, and then like when they built the crane for Vhagar, they put like extra flamethrowers on it because it's Vhagar's crane, And they move these, like they literally use these cranes to be the dragons' heads with the flames and stuff like that. And then they call it the buck, which is the thing they put the riders on, it's all blue, and they put them on there and they shoot. So, yeah, it's really fascinating the way they put all this stuff together. And so I got to imagine they're like amortizing this over a couple of seasons, and that this is probably, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes out to 4 seasons, because there's a lot of story to tell still. They're like, I mean, they're still basically in the beginning of this, and it depends on how far out they go. Because like the book goes out even after like the hostilities are ceased. There's still a lot left in the book in terms of like the political machinations and stuff that follow. So it'll be interesting to see like how far they go with this. But I could see them getting 4 seasons out of it.
I'm hoping, man. 4 seasons of good quality stuff. Like, I wanted more seasons of Game of Thrones, but we don't, like I said, we never talk about season 7 and 8. So I'm hoping seasons 1, 2, 3, and possibly 4 of House of the Dragon is just going to be straight fire. And especially since they got the source material right then and there. So they should have no problems with that.
Yeah, I think they're kind of fast tracking season 3. It's not going to be 2 years, and
Really?
plus, like we saw.
You think there's a good chance that we're going to get a House of Dragon a new season of House of Dragon next year?
Yeah, because
Like,
HBO's already renewed it, so they renewed it even before the second season started. I don't know. Like, we don't have any dates or anything as far as I know, but I know they've already. I think I read that they already scheduled shooting.
For season 4, possibly we're talking about. No, not season 4, season 3.
Season 3, yeah, no, I think they've already scheduled out the shoot, so. Which is good. I mean, because this thing takes obviously months and months and months for them to shoot it and plan it, because they're they have so many things to do, and they're all over between being in Spain, being in England, and all the stuff that they have to do, and all the actors and everything, and schedule everything. So the fact that they're kind of jumping on it. It's good. Yeah. Get it going.
That makes me happy. I just hope that the scheduling, because I know they have a lot of other big hits. And the way I see it, they do every other year with these big hits. I'm talking about White Lotus and The Last of Us in particular. Like they put on there, but that'd be great if we can get another one and don't have to wait these dreaded 2 years. I don't know why they think that's smart. That'd be great, because in the beginning of Game of Thrones, it used to be every year, right? Until the last few seasons.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the first 5 or 6 seasons were like a year and a half, maybe.
Yeah, some change. Yeah,
and then it kind of stretched out a little bit. I think the thing is like, are they gonna shoot before winter? Because those sets are like outdoor sets in England, so they get covered in snow.
That is true. That's smart. Yeah.
Or they're gonna have to wait till the spring, and if they have to wait till the spring, then obviously that's gonna delay it at least like a year to like maybe a year and a half. But if they can start getting shooting in before the end of the year, then maybe would be as long a wait. I don't know. I'm thinking probably like, I don't know, next fall maybe. I don't know.
That's it. That makes sense. Summer of this year, fall next year. That's a good enough. I really do hope, man, because I need more. I need more of this, and I don't. Yeah.
This is one of those things like you wish, like almost like you'd come into it after it was done.
I know people are so lucky, man. I was telling some of my friends that are about to start their journey, the Game of Thrones journey. I said, you don't know how lucky you have it. Many of us had to wait, not 1 year, but 2 years.
Oh yeah, I know. And it's like so I didn't really get into Game of Thrones until like the 5th season already, and so like I like blitzed watched the first 4 seasons.
Yes.
And finished up just as the 5th season was starting, and then I'm like, what's this waiting? I gotta wait.
You gotta wait now, and wait is excruciating long periods. That was me with the with season. I started season 6 when it came out. They just finished season 6, and I think that was a year.
Yeah.
And then season 8 was for me.
That was yeah.
And that was horrible, man. That was a horrible wait.
I choose to not acknowledge that I watched season 8, and I'm still waiting for it.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for it too. That I will not be upset if first of all, if we get new showrunners that will do the show right, and if they want to redo season 8 all over.
We're calling it a mulligan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let the House of the Dragon guys take a crack at it.
Yeah, let them know. I feel like they're getting their toes. If they're getting much comfortable now, they know what they're doing.
How about guys, Ryan? How about we dump truck of money up to your house, and you and your guys take a crack at redoing season 8.
I love it. I think he'll say with pleasure, because they're doing a good job. And it's funny because a lot of, I don't know if you noticed, if you read anything, but I've been on the internet. People actually said that this last episode 5, was actually kind of boring. I didn't see that as boring at all. I thought it was really good. Obviously, there was no action. You know what I mean? Like, we're just coming from an action-packed episode, and to many people, it's probably the best episode of the series so far. So that's a tough act to follow. So I can see people saying it, but honestly, I thought it was a good episode overall. I think it's definitely a lot of building up, story building, actually wise. So I thought it was good, and I think the showrunners and people are doing a good job right now. I'm heavily invested every week. I'm heavily invested into the series.
Yeah, it was a lot of character work and a lot of character building, and moving pieces around the board and things like that. And I appreciate episodes like that. I mean, honestly, like one of my favorite. I mean, we kid about episode 8, but I think maybe my favorite episode, if definitely one of my favorite episodes, if not my favorite episode of season 8, is A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which is
that was
episode 2, which is basically just people sitting around Winterfell talking.
Yeah.
Nothing happens in that episode. It's just, they're just sitting around the day, waiting for the battle to come to them. But I think it was just so many great character pieces in that episode.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the first 3 episodes of season 8, I kind of liked. The rest, I don't know. But I do agree with you. I think that was a perfectly good episode. It was a unique episode of Game of Thrones. Not our typical one. But I like the fact that you do see all these characters we grew up with and we were watching, that we fell in love with, interacting with other characters that we never would have thought. You know what I mean? I see the room with Tyrion, Jaime, Brienne, Podrick, Tormund, with his breast milk, Sir Davos. Oh man, that
who would imagine all those people in a room together?
And they were fighting in previous seasons. They were all enemies at one point, And now you see them, like you said, they're drinking, they're having a good time, reminiscing. Even get a special moment of Jaime doing right by Brienne by making her a knight. That to me is just that was an excellent example of an excellent episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, so I looked at this one as a similar type of thing where it's just character work done, which is just going to strengthen the episodes around it. It can't all be action.
No,
there's got to be time to invest in these characters, and I think this did a lot of it. I think Jace came out of this really well. I think, especially Baela,
Rhaenyra, yeah, Aemond, Daemon is more. Even our boy, the Lord Strong.
Yeah, I tell you, I really like Baela and Jace together.
Yeah, that was a good pairing. They support each other. They really do care for each other. and they keep each other grounded.
Yeah, and he's always defending her, you know?
He really is. He's defending her, and she keeps it real with him too. Like, you know, we see that other episode where, you know, she's helping him, I think, grieve the loss of his brother and both his real father. You know what I mean? So that's I think that to me says, oh yeah, they're really real, and it makes me scared because I really am becoming really invested in both of them and both of their relationship. And I was saying this to myself because I'm also I don't know if you know, I'm actually rewatching Game of Thrones for the 10th time. That's because I just love the show that much. But I realized you don't get invested with those who are in relationship with people. So I'm thinking like with John and Egret, and then Rob, and I forgot her name. The one that he married. Oh yeah, but you just don't get married. You do not get invested with people who fall in love with each other, and I'm seeing that right now with Jace and Bela, because I know.
Well, they're betrothed, so. And so with that, I think we're going to wrap up. Thanks everybody for listening. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. We've got additional content on there from Rewatch and from the Acolyte, and we will see you next week. Thanks.